Paradox of drifting. Amidst financial capital. Opening frame portrays. Suffocating contrast between. Street overflowing with. Hurried footsteps racing. With traffic lights. And silent shore. Right nearby. Where human flow sheds. Rigid vest layers. To blend into. Water flow. Surrounded by. Financial reports. And fierce spin. Of capitalist economy. Modern humanity seems. Sinking into. Aimless wandering state. Of mind. Under huge pressures. However, right at center. Of continental Europe. Holding most powerful. Banking systems. On planet. With life pace. Measured accurately. To every ticking second. Exists extremely. Astonishing paradox. Why tens of thousands. Of individuals. From directors wearing. Most luxurious suits. On physical forms. To normal working classes. Resolutely strip off. All prestigious shells. To sow lives. Into fast-flowing rivers? Amidst a nation. Completely possessing. No coastlines. Action-drifting lives. Long freezing water flows. Cutting across. Prosperous megacities. Actually hides. Great manifesto. About slow-living art. And peak of. Architectural planning. Most symbolic image. For this spectacular escape. Is exactly. Brilliant dry bags. Bearing fish shape. Called by native population. With affectionate name. Wicklefish. Try imagining. Financial expert. Recently standing in. Glass building. Of powerful banks. Like UBS. Or Credit Suisse. Holding shiny. Leather briefcase. Processing million-dollar contracts. Just few minutes later. All those suits. Telephones and. Prestigious documents. Are rolled tightly. Inside magical. Fish bag. When the bag. Pumped full of air. Becoming floating buoy. Is also moment. All burdens of. Status and responsibility. Completely shed. Giving way to. Most original freedom. Amidst deep green flow. To fully decode. This symbolic. Sociological phenomenon. Analytical content. Of the journey. Will be divided. Into 3. Extremely clear. Core parts. Part 1 proceeds. Opening historical roots. Understanding how. Pristine water flows. From Alps mountain range. Created intangible. Cultural heritage. Deeply ingrained into. Subconsciousness. Of native community. Part 2 focuses. Portraying outstanding wisdom. In managing ecosystem. Transforming industrial flows. Into giant. Natural swimming pools. Maintaining purity. To perfect level. Part 3 brings. Sharp perspective about. Great equality. Underwater surface. Where all strictest. Class boundaries. Completely blurred. Before officially. Stepping into journey. Exploring deep. Cultural layers. Of Watchland. Pressing subscribe channel button. Right now. Helps maintaining. Knowledge connection. Most seamlessly. Facing hurried spin. Of 21st century. Has modern humanity. Ever dared taking off. Fame coat. To bravely drift. All sorrows. Along pristine flow. Once yet? Part 1. Cultural identity. And flow heritage. From Alps mountains. Journey peeling back roots. Of swimming culture. Amidst megacities. Forced to reverse space. To touch peak. Of majestic Alps. Mountain range. Playing role as. Giant water tower. Of entire European continent. Melting ice and snow. From these eternal peaks. Provided priceless. Freshwater resource. For countless. Neighboring nations. However completely different. From mindset of. Many industrial civilizations, once considering rivers as tools serving commerce or discharge systems, Swiss culture worships these flows like sacred bloodline. Large rivers, like our river, flowing through Bern capital, or Limmat River, crossing Zurich Financial Center, all carry original purity from thousands of years old glaciers. According to historical records from early 19th century, cantonal governments in Switzerland started planning and building series of public bathhouses named Badi along large rivers right amidst urban centers. Initial purpose of these wooden architectural structures aimed to provide safe hygiene and physical training space for working class during booming period of European industrial revolution, overcoming cruel challenge of time and stormy development of commercial real estate. Traditional Badi bathhouse system never demolished, but increasingly preserved and expanded in scale. In 1950s, when facing water pollution risk due to urbanization process, Swiss government drastically issued Water Protection Act to save native river ecosystem. Data from Swiss Federal Office for Environment FOEN affirms that investing billions of francs into advanced underground wastewater treatment systems turned these urban rivers reaching quality standards equivalent to drinking water. That great purity also accompanies extremely harsh physiological challenge when melting ice water source from Alps always maintains extremely low temperature level, usually only fluctuating around 15 to 20 degrees Celsius, even amidst fiery summer days. Moment bare skin contacts this primal freezing water flow will create sudden temperature shock onto entire central nervous system. That intense physiological shock immediately freezes all chaotic thought flows, completely washing away all tense anxieties about stock market or giant financial reports. This factor forces brain to immediately return to most original survival state, focusing completely on every current breath to maintain body temperature. Process sinking into this cold water flow actually is extremely cruel natural hydrotherapy form, but is most effective method purifying mind and rebooting entire biological system. Action stepping down crystal clear water and relaxing body for natural flow to sweep away. Absolutely not. Spontaneous sports trend of 21st century. This actually is intangible cultural heritage transmitted through countless generations, drawing absolute silent boundary to separate lives from noisiness and fierce calculations of onshore world, relying on floating buoy and allowing pushing force of river to decide moving speed is exactly strongest resistance against insatiable time-controlling aspiration of capitalist society. This concept portrays extremely great letting go philosophy, reminding humanity that sometimes best way moving forward is stop struggling and learn to flow along inevitable flow of nature. Facing cultural heritage preserved for hundreds of years right amidst modern urbanity. How many nations in world dare to refuse industrial economic benefits to protect absolute cleanliness for native rivers? Leaving multidimensional perspectives and analysis at comment section will together expand vision about natural ecosystem, conservation art, philosophy, sustainable development of a civilization, not measured by skyscrapers rising into air, but shaped by purity level of water flows running through urban centers. Part 2, Planning Miracle and deep respect of urban ecosystem, shifting vision from white snow-covered peaks. Analytical lens will go deep into center of most powerful financial megacities on planet, at bustling cities like Zurich or Basel. Appearance of thousands of citizens carrying brilliant waterproof bags named Wickelfish became extremely familiar. Urban symbol. This special swimming bag, bearing fish shape, not only performs task protecting personal properties, along with expensive suits, but also operates as extremely safe floating buoy on water surface to transform fast-flowing currents cutting across industrial center areas into giant natural swimming pools. Switzerland nation had to implement extremely great ecological revolution and consumed billions of francs, according to official reports from Swiss Federal Institute of Aquatic Science and Technology, also known by name EAWAG. Water quality at urban rivers once fell into severe pollution state during middle decades of 20th century due to consequences of industrialization process, facing collapse brink of native ecosystem. Federal government levels drastically deployed a 3-level underground wastewater treatment system with world most advanced microbiological filtration technology. Result of this century vision planning strategy is entire river network at landlocked nation regained original purity, reaching absolute safety standards for swimming activities, and even usable as direct drinking water source. Strict maintenance and supervision of quality of these flows proves extremely deep nature respect of modern civilization. Instead of building rigid concrete fences to separate lives from nature, Swiss architectural planning art chose option expanding community living space down to water edge, stone steps, or wooden docks, meticulously designed along both banks of Rhine River, created perfect transition between stressful workspace and absolute relaxation state. This great respect directly created an unprecedented traffic cultural phenomenon named river commuting. Try imagining on hot summer afternoons, instead of crowding on suffocating subway cars or getting stuck amidst traffic flows, fully discharging carbon emissions. Financial elites at Basel or Bern choose completely silent route returning home. Intellectual circles leisurely take off expensive suits, carefully pack leather shoes and laptop computers inside brilliant Wickelfish bags, locked tightly to turn this tool into floating buoyant buoy moment, sewing physical forms into fast-flowing Rhine River or our river. These individuals turned themselves into free passengers on giant biological conveyor belt, natural pushing force of crystal clear water smoothly brings these lives gliding past skyscrapers, drifting all pressures of long workday without consuming any single drop of fossil fuels. Exactly perfect intersection between industrial life pace and original nature, turned Swiss megacities into peak of sustainable living art. Journey decoding great paradoxes of watchland is still continuing, opening countless profound perspectives about urban ecological planning art, leaving positive interactive mark and spreading this knowledge. Discovery journey to elite community will play role as priceless motivation source, contributing to create multidimensional and extremely high quality academic ecosystem. Looking at miracle cleaning entire river network right in heart of financial megacities. Can other developing nations in the world draw any core lessons about trade-off strategy between economic growth and protecting living environment? Sharing in-depth analytical perspectives at comment section will together complete panoramic picture about sustainable development. Philosophy peak of urban planning art does not lie in conquering or bending natural laws, but decided by ability fully harmonizing industrial life pace into original purity of ecosystem. Part 3 Sociological lens and great equality underwater surface. Closing great achievements about urban ecological planning techniques. Analytical lens will shift towards extremely profound humane aspect of Switzerland society behind action, sowing bodies into freezing rivers, cutting across powerful financial centers. This swimming culture is silently creating class equality space at absolute level, at a nation famous for giant banking network and most expensive living standard on planet. Natural flows are exactly only place capable of stripping away all material labels and social status of classes. When shedding expensive handmade suits or sweaty labor uniforms to tuck neatly inside waterproof wicklefish bag, all strict class stratification boundaries of capitalism are immediately blurred by water flow under pristine pushing force of Rhine River or Limit River. A chief executive officer possessing $1 million salary and a street sanitation worker must all comply with same invisible physical law. Not a single individual can bring powerful titles, balance sheets, or huge pressures from multinational corporations down to cold water flow. Pure aquatic environment acts as giant sociological filter, bringing all swimming lives back to most original biological state. Unintentional interaction between floating individuals on same flow creates extremely strange miniature community structure where respect is built based on consciousness complying with natural discipline instead of economic power. This silent resistance is also pushed to greater philosophical height through concept of aimless floating in economic system where all actions are bound by core performance indicators and every passing second converted into financial profit, completely entrusting physical body to directionless flow is exactly ultimate liberation, completely different from finish line conquering mindset of competitive sports. Floating participants do not need establishing any specific target. These individuals cannot urge water flow running faster, nor can pre-program a stopping point accurate to every centimeter. This complete stripping of future controlling aspiration forces brains of leading financial experts to accept extremely harsh truth, but bearing profound healing nature. That is acknowledgement that there are great forces of nature that humanity absolutely cannot intervene or manipulate by power or money. Moment of letting go and allowing gravity, along with water power, to dictate journey, is exactly when proud ego of civilization is defeated, giving way to most original mindfulness and freedom state. Floating art along native rivers not only helps purifying dregs of physical fatigue, but also nurtures great humble mindset before eternal power of nature, when all boundaries of power and material wealth are completely stripped away under water surface. Is this absolute equality most effective healing remedy for psychological diseases of capitalism era? Sharing in-depth analytical perspectives at comment section will redefine true value of freedom. Philosophy. Pristine nature. Never cared about thickness of financial reports, because crystal clear water is exactly fairest judge, stripping away all class illusions. Outro conclusion and manifesto about slow living art. Closing entire journey. Decoding great paradox of watchland. Panoramic picture about swimming culture on urban rivers exposed. Extremely profound truth. Action taking off suits to sow life into freezing water flow. Not merely summer entertainment method, but exactly vivid manifesto about art harmonizing between peak of capitalism and primitiveness of ecosystem. Switzerland nation proved to entire humanity that ultimate development of financial economy can perfectly parallel with protecting original purity level of nature. Greatest symbolic contrast of this culture is exactly profound paradox about time concept. Switzerland inherently honored by whole world as cradle of most luxury mechanical watchmaking industry on planet, where great minds always strive to control and measure time accurately to thousandths of second. Life pace on shore of financial elites, always bound by extremely strict schedules and extreme rush. However, what great paradox amidst 21st century full of fluctuations. Concept of ultimate luxury completely change. Luxury no longer lies in wearing $1 million watch on wrist to remind the mind about brilliant busyness. Most luxury privilege of modern life is exactly courage, daring to take off that powerful watch, put it neatly inside waterproof wickelfish bag, and let pristine flow of nature dictate drifting speed of oneself. Furthermore, flows cutting across power centers also act as invisible judge, stripping away all material labels to return lives to most equal and humble state before vast universe, facing huge pressures of digital technology era, seeking quiet flow to drift the ego and purify the mind, is becoming extremely urgent survival need for any modern citizen to continuously update and accompany global macro-level knowledge discovery journeys. Action of pressing subscribe channel button right now is extremely valuable action. Leaving a like and sharing this in-depth analytical content to elite community builds multidimensional academic space and provides huge motivation source, maintaining unceasing research flame after fully contemplating perfect intersection between prosperous urbanity and pristine nature. Is each individual ready to create for inner space a quiet river to wash away invisible pressures of modern life yet? Leaving sharpest thought lines at comment section will perfectly close this brilliant knowledge journey. Philosophy human life only truly reaches highest freedom realm when knowing how to shed heavy fame coat, to bravely drift along primal beat of nature.